I'm here today, and I'm sitting next to a man who's been called America's favorite son. And as you can tell, this is obviously Mr. Mark Twain. Mark, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, Tom. Pretty good.
Well, that's good. Well, I mentioned that you've been called America's favorite son. How do you think that moniker was earned? Because it's pretty lofty.
I have no idea.
You want to guess?
No, I don't, and I don't even want to think about it, let alone guess
You want me to
about
guess?
it. Yes, do that.
Okay, I guess because you're a great juggler. I think that's it.
A juggler?
A juggler.
Of what?
I don't know.
How about the English language?
Did they have chainsaws back then?
No. And I wouldn't do that now.
In this
I
vein,
value my hands too much.
very, very
And
good
other
point.
parts of my anatomy.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Now, when we think about it, and students especially, when they think about American satire, Mark Twain is always the first name that pops up. I think satire is very important. Why do you think it's been important 100 years ago, or 150 years ago, today, and 150 years in the future?
Well, I tell you what. I started out as really a travel writer, you see. I did a lot of traveling, and I wrote books about it, Life on the Mississippi and Roughing It, and all kinds of books before there was any satire involved in this thing, as you pointed out. Satire, I never considered myself to be a satirist.
Okay.
A Satanist, perhaps, but not a satirist. Yeah. I'm a humorist.
Okay.
But humorists in those days didn't make any money.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, in those days when we sold a book, we sold it by subscription. We had people going out there like, well, you're probably too young to remember it, but there was a fellow that used to go around, and he was called the Fuller Brush Man. And he used to knock on people's doors and sell them combs and brushes and other toiletries, you see. Well, that's how we sold books. Somebody would go out and knock on the door and they'd say, Mr. Twain is writing another book. How would you like to get a copy of it in about 3 years? And they would say, oh, that's fine, and sign up. So we knew how many books that we were to print. We didn't just go out and print a number of books, you see. And then, if it was a popular book, then we could reorder it, you know. But I used to take those books and go out on the lecture circuit, which is where I made a lot of money. Yes. Yeah, I hated it, but I made a lot of money. And I would give readings from my work, but I would change the readings as I was going through. Something would sound better to me, so I'd say that. And then I would go back and rewrite that section so that my books, if you got the first one, and then you got the second edition and the third edition, it'll be different.
They were different.
Absolutely, yeah. No satire, though.
I bet you got a lot of hate mail about that, didn't you?
No,
Yeah?
never got any hate mail at all. People love me.
Wow.
You believe that?
Totally.
Oh, yes, okay.
Well, you mentioned your time on the riverboat, and
How old are you, Tom?
I'm a tender young age of 32.
Yeah, that's why you believe stuff like that. Go ahead.
No, well, you mentioned your time on the riverboat.
Yeah.
Back then, you were known as Sam Clemens.
Yes, it was.
So why did you change the? Why the need to make a pseudonym, Mark Twain, and tell everyone how you came up with Mark Twain?
Well, I tell you, there was a fellow by the name of Captain Isaiah Sellers. And Captain Sellers used to write these brief paragraphs about the river, and he'd signed them Mark Twain. Now, Mark Twain on the river meant 2 fathoms. And do you know how deep 1 fathom is?
About 6 feet.
Yeah, there's no about it.
6 feet?
It's 6 feet.
On the nose?
So Mark Twain would be...
2 fathoms.
And how? Right, very good, Tom.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations. 32, and he knew that 6 and 6 was 12. That's really good. But he used to send those paragraphs. You sign them, Mark Twain, and send them to the New Orleans Picayune.
Okay.
But the pilots resented it because he knew too much for them. The younger pilots.
Gotcha.
His knowledge of the river was so wide and deep, they resented it. And they used to chaff these Mark Twain paragraphs with unsparing mockery. Well, I kind of made fun of it in one of my first newspaper articles, and this really hurt the old man, you see. And Eventually, well, he despised me from that day on.
Okay.
Yeah. But eventually he died. And when he died, I appropriated his name, Mark Twain. It seemed to fit me. And you know that I love that profession of river boating and piloting on the Mississippi River better than anything I have. I was a silver miner in Nevada. I was a gold miner in California. I was a reporter, a foreign correspondent, a lecturer, as you already know, before I went to New England and started to write all of those books.
Well,
Next question.
Mark Twain is certainly known
I don't even remember what the first question was.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
Oh, good.
I have it written right in front of me, but I still don't remember. Mark Twain is certainly no stranger with controversy. He certainly pulled no punches. And I want to read a quote.
Speaking of pulling no punches, yeah, go ahead.
I've got a quote here that I certainly want to read. Now, I'm not a Cincinnati native, so I find this hilarious.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people from Cincinnati. I think you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Well, you're probably talking about. Well, let me start at the beginning of that quote, which I don't even know yet, but I can guess. You see, I'm in Cincinnati now. I was here twice before. I was here once in 1856. I worked for a printer down on Walnut Street, and I came back in 1885 and I gave a lecture. The same one that I'm giving tonight, by the way.
Okay.
And but I intend to stay in Cincinnati for at least 2 years, because I have heard that some people believe that on May the 21st of 2011, the world is going to end.
Well,
No. Now, just a minute. You see, you haven't kept up with the times.
I must not.
No, there is a date of May the 21st, 2011, where the revelation is going to come, and well, you'll be gone. I'll still be around. And then the other side of it is that some people don't believe that at all, and they go to the year 2012, which is what you were referring to. Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, I intend to stay in Cincinnati at least until 2013. And if either one of those predictions is correct, I'll know that I have at least 10 years left.
So you do know the quote that I'm talking about.
Haven't a clue.
It says from Mark Twain in 1883, when the end of the world comes, I want to be in Cincinnati because it's always 20 years behind the times.
Well, it was really, the quote was 10 years, but, you know, people make mistakes all the time.
Either way, though, I loved it. You know, my wife's from Cincinnati. She's not such a fan of
Where
that,
are you
but I
from?
think it's like, I'm from, well, basically Tennessee.
Tennessee? Okay.
Yeah, beautiful country down there.
Oh, yes, well, been there.
All right, one final question for Mark Twain, and I want to know how does Mark Twain feel about the recent changes to Huckleberry Finn?
Well, now, I thought that you were going to ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is rewriting Huckleberry Finn right now.
Correct.
And they're taking out the word.
Yes.
And because they're offended by it.
Mm-hmm.
I once went into a library.
Mm-hmm.
This was years and years ago. It was about 120 years ago.
Okay.
And the librarian had banned Huckleberry Finn because of that word.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yes.
And several other things that he found offensive in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a deal with this librarian. I said, you take Huckleberry Finn and you mark out all of the things that you think the young people should not be exposed to.
Sure.
And I will take the Bible. And I will mark out all of the things that I think the young people should be exposed to.
Right.
And I challenge you to ban the Bible from your library.
Oh,
He refused to take the challenge.
I love that. I love that. Typical Mark Twain. I love that, I got to say. Now, Mark, these next set of questions are about your good friend, handsome devil named Bill Hartnett.
Oh, he is handsome.
Isn't he a looker?
Oh, my God, yes.
Isn't that guy a looker? Well, your friend, Bill, he won the Continuing Achievement Award from the League of Cincinnati Theaters, and how do you think he felt about that?
Ask my wife. She won it with me.
Your wife or
Yeah.
Bill's wife?
Yeah, well, my wife would be Libby, but my life when I'm Bill Hartnett
Right,
is
exactly.
is Ellie Shepard, and she directs me in all my shows, and she and I won that award together, and we loved it. We were pretty surprised when they gave it to us a couple of years ago.
You know, one of my the third question I was going to have for Bill was actually what it's like to work with Ellie Shepard, who of course is an award winner too. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my wife. Don't get me wrong. I couldn't work with her though because we're two very different people. Be honest, she can't hear us. How's it working with her? Is it all right?
Hi, Ellie. It's interesting.
Okay.
Because just as you say, you're two different people, and we have different ideas. And when we go in to a play, like I also do Give 'Em Hell, Harry, which is the Harry Truman story, one man. She directs me in that, and she directs me in this. And we direct ourselves in a couple of two-person plays. And we have arguments.
Okay.
I mean, knock down, drag out arguments. We really, don't we, hon? Yeah. And she does not win all the time, and neither do I.
Sure.
But we love each other, and we respect each other, and we get along.
Well, I want to know your secret because I never win an argument. So.
I ask her what the secret is.
Oh, yeah, I need to get that secret sauce. I got to get that recipe, Ellie.
She's so nice. That's what. Yeah.
Well, you alluded to your performance that you're really known for here, and that's called "Give 'Em Hell, Harry," about Harry Truman. So it's been a while since you've done that, or do you plan to do that one here in the future?
No, I did it here about 3 years ago, Al. About 3 years ago, I think.
Okay. People loved it. People loved it.
Yeah, they did. It's a wonderful play.
Yes,
it's so different than the Mark Twain thing because Give 'Em Hell, Harry is a play, and it starts out and it goes along, throughout his life.
Yes.
And it tells that story, where Mark Twain, we take sections of the books that he wrote. And some of them are very dark, and some of them are very funny, and some of them are just stories, and this one is more difficult to do than Give 'Em Hell, Harry.
Sure.
Just because of that, you got to figure out, God, where am I? Where do I go now? And it's funny because in the last section of the Twain show that I do, when we get into Huck Finn, and from there on, almost to the very end, you can hear a pin drop in that audience when we do the Huck going down the river with Jim, and we get to Pap, and the word again, and it just we tell the people before we go into it. We mention this fellow who's rewriting the book, and we tell them that this what you're going to hear tonight is the unexpurgated, true Huckleberry Finn story, and if you don't like it, you can leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now, where can because the performance as Mark Twain, it's got a couple weekends left. I mean, do you have any plans in the future going forward for the rest of the calendar year? Are you going to tackle another project, or
one never knows?
One never knows.
One never knows. We do radio stuff down at the Cincinnati.
We as in you and Ellie?
No. There's a bunch of actors in town, and we do radio shows down at the Cincinnati. What's it called? Institute for the Blind.
St. Rita?
No, the blind, not the deaf. Okay. It's down near Playhouse in the Park, and so we have one of those coming up Tuesday.
Excellent.
And after that, there's a couple of people who have approached me to do a couple of shows in the distant future, but nothing's been decided yet.
All right.
So we'll see.
Well, Bill, you are absolutely an amazing talent.
Well, thank you.
And just sharing a stage with you for this little intimate moment has been something that I won't forget. So I really thank you so much. I want to thank you and Ellie for being so gracious to me and the crew here. So we really thank you very much, and I hope we can catch up again in the near future.
Thank you very much, Tommy.
My pleasure, Bill. Thank you.
Quite a bullshitter.
Bill Hartnett.